Dear students, I am going to start integral equations and calculus of variations. The code of this subject is MSc 504. In this, we are having first unit, which is preliminary concepts, in which we will define the and classify the linear integral equation, conversion of integral equation into boundary value problem. Fine. And boundary value problem into integral equations, conversion of initial and boundary value problem into integral equations, then conversion of integral equation into differential integral equation, integral differential equation. So इंटीग्रल बाउंड्री इनिशियल और बाउंड्री को कन्वर्ट करना है इंटीग्रल इक्वेशन में, और इंटीग्रल इक्वेशन को भी कन्वर्ट करना है डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन में. तो ये वी विल स्टडी दिस. In the second unit we are having Fredholm integral equation. In the Fredholm integral equation we will study about the solution of integral equation with separable kernels, eigenvalues, eigenfunctions, solutions by the successive approximation method, Nyman series and resolvent kernel, solution of integral equation with symmetric kernel, then Hilbert-Smith theorem and Green's function approach. We will study these. Fine. So for time being I am not taking the third unit. I will take the fourth unit, where Volterra integral equation we will discuss, successive approximation Nyman series and resolvent kernel equation with convolution type kernels. In the fifth unit we are taking solutions of integral equation by transform method, like singular integral equations, Hilbert transform and Cauchy type integral equations. Next, so this is integral equation. Up to fifth unit we are having integral equations. Now calculus of variation starts in the sixth unit. Here calculus of variation, basic concepts of the calculus of variation such as functionals, extremum, variations, function space, and so we will take these ones. Then necessary condition for the extremum, Euler equation with the cases of one variable and several variables, variational derivatives, invariance of Euler's equation, variational problem in parametric form. So we will take the calculus of variation here. And the last unit is, this is also be a part of the calculus of variation, general variation, functional dependent on one or two functions, derivation of basic formula, variational problem with moving boundaries, broken extremals, Weierstrass Erdmann conditions. So this is calculus of variation 6 and 7, and from 1 to 5 this is integral equations. For as far as the books are concerned, so for integral equations we will follow MD Rai Singhania, and for calculus of variation we will follow Gelfand, IM, Formin SV, calculus of variation, and other reference books are listed here. Fine. So you can see these books, these are the reference books. So now we will start with the integral equation. So what is an integral equation? The first definition is this. So an integral equation is an equation in which an unknown function appears under one or more integral sign. For example, first example is f of x is equal to a to x f k x xi u j d j. So in this equation basically u j is the unknown, f of x is a known function, kxj is a known function, only a known function is uj, and this unknown function is under integral sign. That's why this is an integral equation. Fine, because integral is used. X is a variable, a is a constant, and here k is known as the kernel of the integral equation. Similarly, in the second equation, ux is equal to f of x plus lambda a to b kxj uj dj. Here this u basically after integrating this, so what you will get, because here the limits are a to b and variable is xi, so after solving this obviously you are getting some function of x only, so that's why ux. So u here and here both are same functions, only difference is the variable. Here variable is xi, here variable is x, but function is same, and u is unknown function. So we have to find out the u. Another difference in first and second equation is that here is x variable quantity, here a constant one. Fine. So here f of x, kxj both are known functions. However, u either in left hand side or in the right hand side both are same function. This is a known function which is to be evaluated. In the third equation, ux is equal to a to b kxj uj whole square dj. So here is the power. So ux is a known function, fx, kxj both are known functions, and lambda a and b are constants. Fine. And here x varies this between a to b, j varies from a to b, and x and j may be real or complex numbers. So this is the integral equations. Now we are having classified broadly linear and non-linear integral equations. So an integral equation is called linear if only linear operations are performed in it upon the unknown function. For example, here this is linear operation, there is no power, so both are linear equations. However, an integral equation which is not linear is known as a non-linear integral equation. For example, the second equation, here we are having a power, second power, square, that's why this is a non-linear. So this is non-linear integral equation. So 1 and 2 both are linear equations, there is no power, there is no product. However, here this is a power, so that's why this is non-linear. Now the general form of an integral equation. This is the general form of the integral equation. Here vx ux both are multiplied, both are functions, is equals to f of x plus lambda a. There is no upper limit because upper limit may be a variable quantity or a constant one, that's why I am not writing, and kxj uj dj. So that's why upper limit may be x, a variable, or fixed v. So that's why I am not writing this, and this is known as the kernel of the integral equation. Here u is unknown to be determined, and vx, fx, kxj all are known functions. Lambda, this lambda is basically non-zero real or complex parameter. So this is the general form of an integral equation. Now an integral equation broadly classified into two. Generally the famous equations are Fredholm and integral equations. Fine. So we will study these later one, but before that, note point. When in this general equation, now we will study the three types. When vx is 0, when vx is 1, and when vx is neither 0 nor 1. So when vx here is 0, then left hand side will be 0 equal to f of x plus lambda a to a lower limit kxj uj dj. This is called as linear integral equation of first kind. Similarly, when vx is 1, then this star equation becomes ux is equal to f of x plus lambda a kxj uj dj, and this is linear integral equation of the second kind. Here is first kind, here is second kind. Now when vx is non-zero or 1, then star is called the linear integral equation of the third kind. This is the third kind. That means general equation is basically nothing but the third kind equation. Fine. So in this study, basically we will consider only linear integral equation of the first kind and the second kind only. We are not considering the third kind. Now some specific integral equation. The most famous one is Volterra integral equation and the Fredholm integral equation. Because here I am not writing the upper limit. If upper limit is constant, then equation is known as Fredholm integral equation. When the upper limit is a variable, then the equation is known as Volterra integral equation. This is the broad difference. So a linear integral equation of the form this is the third kind equation with upper limit a constant b. So this is called as Fredholm integral equation of the third kind, where a and b both are constant. Fx, v and k all are known functions. Only a known quantity is u. Lambda is a parameter which may be non-zero real or complex parameter. Fine, and k is known as the kernel of the integral equation. Now similarly, here we are having specific cases. When Vx is 0, then we have this equation which is known as Fredholm integral equation of the first kind. When Vx is 1, then this is called Fredholm integral equation of the second kind. Here constant values are there. When f of x is 0 and Vx is 1, in the same equation, when you put f of x is 0 here, f and Vx is 1, then what will be, because this is v of x equal to 1, so when in this equation you put f of x is 0, so we will get this equation which is known as homogeneous Fredholm integral equation of the second kind. So this is again the specific case of second kind. Just substitute f of x equal to 0 here, so we get this equation which is known as homogeneous Fredholm integral equation of the second kind. Fine. Now Volterra integral equation. A linear integral equation of the form Vx ux is equals to f of x plus lambda a to x kx j u j d j. This. So here upper limit is a variable quantity. However, here upper limit is a constant one. So it's called Volterra integral equation of the third kind. Again, u, f, k, they are known function. A is constant, x is a variable, u is a known quantity, lambda is a non-zero real or complex parameter, and k is known as the kernel of the integral equation. So this is the broad difference. In Volterra integral equation, we are having a variable quantity. However, in Fredholm integral equation, we are having constant limit. Fine, this is the difference. So now, again we are having special cases. When Vx is 0, so we have this equation which is known as Volterra integral equation of the first kind. When Vx is 1, so we get Volterra integral equation of the second kind. When Vx is 1 and f of x is 0, that means here when you put f of x is 0, this will become homogeneous Volterra integral equation of the second kind. Fine. So this is Volterra integral equation. Now the singular integral equation. When one or both limits of the integration becomes infinite, या तो दोनों लिमिट में से कोई भी एक या दोनों इनफाइनाइट हो जाए, और when the kernel becomes infinite at one or more points within the range of the integration, यानी जो रेंज है इस इंटीग्रल की उसको जब पुट करें तो कर्नल अगर जीरो ये इनफाइनाइट हो जाए, तब भी इन दोनों केस में या तो लिमिट इनफाइनाइट हो या कर्नल, तब हम कहेंगे इक्वेशन द इंटीग्रल इक्वेशन इज नोन एज सिंगुलर इंटीग्रल इक्वेशन. फॉर एग्जांपल हियर फर्स्ट इक्वेशन ux इज इक्वल टू एफ ऑफ एक्स प्लस लैम्डा इंटीग्रल माइनस इनफाइनाइट टू इनफाइनाइट ई रेज टू द पावर माइनस मैग्नीट्यूड x माइनस जाय u जाय डी जाय. सो हियर यू विल सी limits are infinite, that's why singular integral equation. In the second example, f of x is equals to 0 to x 1 by x minus xi raised to the power alpha u j d j, where alpha is in between 0 and 1. So here you will see when you put upper limit x, because xi is the parameter, when put xi is equals to x here, so this will become 0. That means 1 by 0 is infinite because alpha is in between 0 and 1. So 1 by 0, 1 by 0 means infinite. So that's why kernel, this is the kernel. This is the kernel. So this will become infinite, and that's why this is singular integral equation. Fine. Now we are having some special kinds of kernels. Some special kinds of kernels. First is the symmetric kernel. Symmetric kernel for real and complex. For real kernel, when you just replace x by j or j by x, interchange, so there will be no effect, then kernel is symmetric. Similarly, when in the complex case, just take the conjugate. If the conjugate and function itself both are same, then we are saying that symmetric kernel. For example, here we have taken 5 examples: sin x plus xi, log x j, and x square j square plus x j plus 1. In these 3 cases, if you interchange x with j and j with x, there will be no effect in the function. The function remains same. That's why symmetric kernels. However, in the 4th case and 5th case, sin here 2x plus 3 xi, x square j cube plus x j square plus 1. Just replace x by y by x. For example, here in fourth case, function will be changed. Similarly, in the fifth one, that's why they are not symmetric. Fine. Now, next is the separable or degenerate kernel. So kxj is equals to summation gix hij. That means when you separate your kernel, or you can write this kernel in terms of this series or summation in the form of finite summation of the functions which are the product of functions of x only and product function of y only. So a kernel, this is called separable if it can be expressed the sum of a finite number. This is important. Finite number of terms, each of which is the product of a function of x only and function of y only. So here n is basically a finite. So that's why this is known as separable kernel. जब आप कर्नल को x और y के अलग अलग फंक्शंस में ब्रेक कर लें और उनका प्रोडक्ट की हेल्प से और उनके सम की हेल्प से आप कर्नल को लिख पाएँ तो दैन कर्नल इज नोन एज सेपरेबल फंक्शन. फाइन. Then we have integral equation of the convolution type. So I think we have to discuss this in the next class. Thank you.